Heya Cryptozens. Tonight's show. Coinbase says Three Arrows Capital, Celsius Voyager were foreseeable. Emmer Questions SEC on Extrajudicial Acts. And UK Act introduces stablecoin rules. It's 10 p.m. Pacific time. The date is July 20th, 2022. And welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter. My name is Nicodemus and I'll be your host. The cover model, mascot, and co-host for this podcast is Tex, and together we take a nightly look at the crypto, NFT, and metaverse space and the industry that surrounds it. So take a minute, go ahead and subscribe to the podcast now, because we're here at 10 p.m. every night so that when you leave in the morning, you're taking with you the crypto news analysis that you need to start your day. And keep in mind, nothing in this show should ever be considered financial advice. So I think the first thing that Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong would want me to tell you is that Coinbase is not exposed. It's not exposed to Three Arrows Capital. It's not exposed to Celsius or Voyager Digital either. That's right. Coinbase has said that they have, quote, no financing exposure. Now, Brett Tejbal is the head of Coinbase International. Matt Boyd is the head of Prime Finance. And Caroline Tarnock is the head of Credit and Market Risk. Well, they got together and they put together a blog post. And in that blog post that came out today, not only did they say they have no exposure to any of those companies, but that they didn't engage in the, quote, types of risky lending practices that seem to have gotten the three of them into trouble, especially 3AC, but all three of them. The Coinbase execs claimed that the harried trio failed to manage risk appropriately, that they exhibited, quote, insufficient risk controls. According to them, the thing that took 3AC and Celsius and Voyager down was deep exposure to Terra, over-leveraging with VC firms, and, quote, unhedged bets. Now, the blog post said, quote, the issues here were foreseeable and actually credit-specific, not crypto-specific in nature. Many of these firms were over-leveraged with short-term liabilities mismatched against longer duration illiquid assets. Now, we believe that these market participants were caught up in the frenzy of a crypto bull market and forgot the basics of risk management. And the trio are sure in trouble. Voyager, they filed for bankruptcy this month, and in their announcement, they said the likelihood of their customers getting any of their money back relies heavily on Three Arrows Capital repaying their debts to Voyager. Now, Three Arrows Capital, of course, filing bankruptcy in the British Virgin Islands. I hope the judge got the note from Voyager because that Virgin Island court ordered Three Arrows Capital to be liquidated. And Celsius, we discussed them in depth last night. Now, they're also in bankruptcy proceedings, but it's not clear that they have any interest in actually returning those funds to customers. As we reported last night, Celsius's lawyers are making the argument that the money deposited with Celsius Network belongs to Celsius, not the customers. And it is not hard to see why Coinbase is eager to get the word out that they have no deep exposure to those three companies. Beyond the optics of being caught in crypto contagion, Coinbase is having their own issues, and they don't need the bad press. They've got enough bad press on their own. Between an 18% staffing cutback, stock falling more than 42%, they're rescinding job offers, they got rid of their affiliate program and their questionable NFT marketplace. Yeah, Coinbase has had enough bad press. They don't need anyone else's. At the time of writing, the global crypto market cap is $1.04 trillion. So we're just barely hanging on to that. It's down 1.07% in 24. The top 5 cryptos by market cap are Bitcoin down 0.21%, Ethereum down 0.2%, Tether, USDC, and Binance Coin down 3.39%. Tom Emmer is a Republican congressman from Minnesota. Now, he has taken his turn putting the Securities Exchange Commission on blast. He took them to task over their reported overreach, unethical actions taken against crypto companies. Now, Emmer himself posted a video on Twitter. This was yesterday. So the video is at a hearing, House Committee on Financial Services, and the clip that he posted was not gentle. While it was the SEC's enforcement director Gruhl that was in the hot seat, Representative Emmer accuses Chair Gensler of using enforcement to expand the authority of the SEC, regardless of the damage done to the industry. And in his tweet, he said, quote, "The SEC Director of Enforcement admits the SEC is cracking down on companies outside its jurisdiction. Absolutely unacceptable." Representative Emmer asked if the SEC is engaged in actions with crypto companies that don't fall in the jurisdiction of Chair Gensler and the SEC. He accused Gensler of being a bully, luring companies in and then smacking them with regulatory actions. He tweeted, quote, "Under Chair Gensler, the SEC has become a power-hungry regulator, politicizing enforcement, baiting companies to, quote, come in and talk to the commission, then hitting them with enforcement actions, discouraging good faith cooperation." Representative Emmer said the SEC's behavior is inexcusable. He believes the SEC is not regulating in good faith. Now, Emmer isn't the first person to get after the SEC for perceived unfair actions and uneven application of regulation. In that same room was Brad Sherman. Now, he's the congressman that's been calling for a ban of crypto. He blames the SEC's enforcement actions, but in the other direction. He wants, for example, the SEC to go after exchanges. He says that XRP is a security and exchanges that sold it should be in trouble. Now, he's also the guy who inspired the Mongoose token last year, so there is that. And the fact is that this case between the SEC and Ripple is still ongoing, and as recent reporting shows, it's not looking so good for the SEC, especially since the Hinman speech has been ruled admissible and that the SEC has to turn over a copy. That speech directly contradicts Sherman's position that exchanges should be in trouble because it says XRP is not a security. And I mean, the court hasn't even ruled yet, but it's not looking good for the government's case. The global NFT market cap is down 7.54%. Sales volume is down 2.21% in 24 hours. According to CoinMarketCap, the top 5 NFT collections by sales volume are Moonbird's Oddities, followed by NFT Worlds, CryptoPunks, Otherdeed, and Doodles. Now keep in mind, some of these collections have very volatile prices, so do your own research. With Boris Johnson's resignation, there was some question about what was going to happen to crypto in the UK. Because you had a number of pro-crypto British officials like Finance Minister Rishi Sunak and Treasury Secretary John Glenn resigning their positions. So there was a question on what the fate of crypto looks like in a post-Johnson Britain. Well, we have a hint at the answer now, because the Financial Services Markets Bill was sent to Parliament today. It's a wide-ranging bill, and part of the purpose of this bill seems to have been to finish cutting the ties with the EU. I mean, it seems like forever ago, but it wasn't really all that long ago that the UK decided to go in its own way. The Brexit vote took effect on the 31st of January 2020, so just about 2.5 years ago. And there is still a bit of UK-related laws that they want to get off the books, which is sort of relevant because the whole Brexit thing was very important to the Johnson administration, and it's still being carried out after his resignation. So maybe that portends how crypto will be treated by the UK, at least in the near future. Back in April, they announced their plan to turn Britain into a new global crypto hub. And it was in that announcement that they said new rules would let consumers make their transactions in stablecoins. Of course, that was before crypto winter settled in, before Sunak and Glenn resigned. Anyway, other parts of the bill included reforming insurance laws, protecting the victims of financial fraud, as well as setting forth new growth objectives. Oh, and stablecoins. Regulating stablecoins is definitely a part of the bill, which isn't a surprise, frankly. It was just this last May, and what happened? Terra Luna Black Swan event happened. What else happened was that the Bank of England issued their plans for regulating stablecoins, that the bank should have the power to regulate stablecoin insolvencies and that they should have administrators to manage those kinds of proceedings. Now, we kind of got advance notice that the stablecoins would be making an appearance. It was confirmed in a speech the night before by the present Chancellor of the Exchequer, Nadhim Zahawi. It was in that speech Zahawi said the coming bill, quote, reinforces the UK's position as a leading center for technology as we safely adopt crypto assets, which is not very surprising, sure, but there you go. It's better than aspiring to be the leader in crypto regulation, which is something I have literally heard UK officials state in the past. Digital settlement assets, that's the term. Legislators repurposed parts of the Banking Act of 2009 and the Financial Services Banking Reform Act of 2013. Now, those acts would be put to service covering digital settlement assets, or DSAs. And the Treasury, they got a lot of authority out of this. They regulate DSAs. They regulate DSA providers and DSA bankruptcy arrangements and payments themselves. Now, they're supposed to bring in the Bank of England and the Financial Conduct Authority, at least on a consultation basis, as appropriate. John Cunliffe is not known to be a big fan of crypto. He is also the Bank of England's Deputy Governor for Financial Stability. Many times in the past, he's pushed for crypto regulation. And in fact, he hinted that there may be a delay in getting new crypto regulations going, but he promised stablecoin rules would be complete before the August break. And stablecoins are certainly on his mind. He was speaking a couple of days ago, and he was referring to the Terra Luna collapse. He compared the current lack of regulations to, quote, unsafe airplanes. So before this bill can become a law, there's 2 more readings in the House of Commons, and then the same thing happens in the House of Lords. And that's going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank you, my listeners, because when you stop listening, I will stop talking. You stay safe out there. Now, watch out for yourselves, but watch out for each other too. We'll see you tomorrow night.